no more time for loving.
Just give it a Panama. Para da chaka popolo corochi pamapa. Ara para da ta da ta ta chapaka chapalaka paka chapaka pacha malaka pupu 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 chipi papa papu.
Build a website you love with Wix. For your words,
100% free music to use.
Once again, they don't have any possible way of I don't know why that's doing that. You're just killing me. You're just killing me. Oh, all right. Well, I don't really have any possibility here. Karacha para pala para ka pachama para ta pala karabach palacha pala karabach kalaka pachara pala palaka charapa. Yeah, baby. Restart, why don't ya? Papalaka paracha para cha la karacha palaka para pachika para para yeah, it never fails. It was working fine, and then look what happened. I know what you guys are thinking, that I did something, right? But you got to realize that it is raining out, and that is a problem around here. You know what I mean? Paracha, parakacha, paracha, akalaka, pachipa, para para la, kachipa, para na na mo, aka, akara, pachipa, para para, chica, para la, chica, para na. All right, let's start this all over again. And the computer started to restart, and then that's what happened. You know what I mean? Para 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 pop ka para 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 cha para 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 pala para chi chi pi pala para. All right, yeah. Let's see. I can put up go to Pocoro Popolo Corochmi Fee. Why not? Let's see what happens if I can get a connection here. We will go live. Yeah, baby. We will go live. What is happening here ain't exactly clear, huh? How about now? Boom. Hey, everybody. I'm live. Can you believe it? And it even rained today and I'm live. I don't know what the hell's going on. Beats the Sam Hill out of me. We're going to go live here in just a second. I think we're live on YouTube, which I think, but I can't really check, so I don't know. And I can't find my little radio, so knock, knock, who's there? I guess I'm on the radio. Someone should text me. Say, hey, are you on the radio? And I'll say, yeah, I think I'm on the radio. I got a full boat of things to do, but you know what? Let's hear from our sponsors first, would you? Do you mind? It'll just take a second. Ticka, 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 boop, boop. All right, someone has to text me if we're on YouTube or not. Huh? What do you say, huh? I don't have time to bring it up. I guess I could. Hey, everybody, AM 1230, WJOB 104.7 FM. Let's take a look at what's going on with traffic. 294 around the city looks pretty good. 80 going east and west. You should be all right there too. Bishop Ford up the gut of the Southlands already. Got a little bit of roughness at the merge from, say, back. You'll see red lights on a garbage dump on the backside of the steel bridge all the way up to the Dan Ryan. The southern end of the Dan Ryan from, say, 103rd or 95th all the way to 43rd is wide open, but 43rd on in. So really the two main spots that you would expect right now. At the merge from the Bishop Ford into the Dan Ryan, and then as you approach the city on the Dan Ryan, it gets kind of rough right there. And let's take a look at weather. 294. I already did weather for you this morning. And you hear it? I got up at 3 o'clock and I did it and put it in, and you should have already heard it. So I'll just do it again. From memory, high of 44 today, on and off rain and drizzle. It's already drizzling pretty hard right now. Cloudy tomorrow, high of 44. No drizzle, but you'll be all right. But the drizzle comes back on Thursday and Friday, high of 54 on Thursday, rain in the afternoon, and then high of 49 on Friday. Finally get to some sunshine over the weekend, which is kind of cool. I do want to remind you that there are some excellent shows coming up to the Hard Rock Casino. And I want to say thank you to Pat Kramer for sending these to me. I'm going to some of this, and I'm not really sure what. Let's say on Friday, DJN for Red is at the Council Oak at 9:30, 9 o'clock. One of the things I wanted to point out was that Together Band is playing on the Hard Rock Cafe stage at 9 o'clock on Friday night. Together is the hottest English-Spanish show band in the Chicagoland area. Many of you have danced to Together over the many years. Then you go to Saturday, kind of a weird mix. At Hard Rock Live, the main stage is Mike Epps. And then you got DJ Marquez Antonio at Council Oaks Bar. And then Lateralis at Hard Rock Cafe stage. And Sunday night, guess who comes? Sting. Sting comes to the main stage in Gary, which is kind of cool. And let's talk to our good friend Verly Suggs. Verly, how are you?
I'm great, Jim. How are you?
I'm better now that you brought me a gift pack.
Oh, you're welcome.
I was so hungry. I'm sitting here and I'm like, God, I don't know if I'm going to make the show. And in comes, and not only does she bring me this food, but do you want these Glad things back or no?
No, not necessary.
Really?
I buy them in bulk.
I'm going to say, I think my wife uses them for her job and takes her lunches in what you gave me the oatmeal in. So
Fantastic.
I'm still chewing, as you could tell.
So the Hard Rock is really doing really well. We were there the other night because we went to dinner at the steakhouse and then sat at the slots for a minute. I lost my little $40, but Mike put in, and he won right away. So we took off after that. Saw Mike Schufert there, which was really nice. And then we're going to go again on Friday because the NAACP is having their annual banquet, the Gary NAACP. So Together's going to be there. I have to check them out as well.
Yeah, Friday. So you'll be able to go.
It's going to be packed on Friday then because they have this banquet going on, Together going on, and people are just coming from everywhere to stop at the Hard Rock and gamble.
And I mean, how do you get Sting on
That's fantastic.
a Sunday night?
Well, it's probably cheaper to get him on a Sunday night than a Friday or a Saturday night.
That's true. He's probably playing the United Center on Friday. I don't know if he's in Chicago. I haven't heard of him being in Chicago.
I don't know how close a distance they'll do concerts consecutively. I don't know.
How you been?
Great.
Hey, the band's back together.
Oh, you did?
Me and you.
Yes, I know.
And nobody's here to tell us what to do. You know what I mean? I don't even know where to start. You know what I mean? It's like, I want to say thank you to Verly and to Adriana and to Michelle Quinn for letting me go over and work on the sports network. And one of the main things was the rebranding of it, and then the hiring of some people to take over marketing. I would have never been able to get that done if I had to wake up at 4:20 and come in and do a show and then do podcasts and all that. So I want to thank you guys. I mean, I know that it takes a village to run a radio station and now a podcast network. And without your help and everybody else's, I wouldn't have been able to go do that.
Well, it was truly our pleasure. Of course, what they said is not going anywhere. So we'll be on from time to time. And it's just great to be back with you as well.
Yeah, and I forget. I mean, is it like next week you guys are on without me, or is it fourth Tuesday or something?
I think it's the fourth Tuesday.
Yeah, so I won't be here with you next Tuesday, but she'll be here with Michelle Quinn and Adriana. And I thoroughly enjoyed listening to you guys, especially Michelle has a way of angering people at times. And I thought you had a kind of a monopoly on that and Kuziak. But no, Michelle Quinn gets put into that category also, partly because she's got pretty strong opinions.
Well, she has strong opinions, and people want to question her credibility, but she's extremely credible. And then, also there's always they call them usually the mean girls, but it's not, here it's the mean guys. People who feel that they have to make fun of somebody. It's so juvenile, but Michelle can handle it.
I do want to talk about one thing before we go to the phone lines. And thank you for calling. I'll get to you guys in just a second. But I want to open up the show today talking about the redistricting aspect. And part of the reason is that if you guys understand what happened, President Trump basically told red states, why don't you guys get together early and redistrict so that we can get more seats in Congress. And that worked in Texas and a couple other places. But two huge states said no to him. And the front page article on the Wall Street Journal is using Kansas and Northwest Indiana as an example of people departing from Trump and starting to treat him as a lame duck president. Now, that's the Wall Street Journal. I'm not altogether sure. I think that's a kind of premature if you're a Democrat to start hoping for that. But it was a big step for Indiana not to redistrict to spank Frank.
It was, I don't even want to say it was to spank Frank. It was to bend the knee to Donald Trump. I don't think it would have made a difference what Democrat was in office. They wanted to get rid of him. And so here comes a governor who is so up the president's that he does not see what's best for his state. And now, he has to bear the wrath of Trump because he wasn't strong enough to get the senators here in the state legislation to come together and do this.
I was so surprised. I mean, and part of the reason was the day before that happened, or 2 days before that happened, I host the Jim Weezer podcast. It's called WIESER, and you could go on to Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, and you can listen to Weezer talk about his opinions as being a longtime Democratic elected official and kind of backroom guy and that kind of thing. And he said, he goes, Jim, it's going to get done. They'll all cave. I am paraphrasing. He was wrong.
He was wrong. And what's going to be really interesting is the next governor's race, because the rumor out there is that Tom McDermott will probably be going for the governor's seat. And will the fallout against Trump that took place in this last election, will it affect the state of Indiana? And will McDermott have a chance?
I mean, didn't we vote for Obama?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So this might be the time, the opportunity. The Mayor Hammond wants a statewide position. He comes out and runs against Braun, who is making some unpopular decisions. Who knows?
In a weird way, a little bit, I was
And
like...
if he has a buy on his ticket, then, and I don't mean a B-U-Y, then that's an added plus.
All right, so Tom McDermott running for governor as a Democrat in the state of Indiana seemed like almost kind of like a joke 5 years ago or 10 years ago, okay? First of all, maybe he didn't kind of reach that status, I guess. And second of all, it's like we're like a 61% Republican state, right? But it was less than 20 years ago that we elected Barack Obama from this state. Part of it, I forget even who they were running against, but it wasn't a real popular Republican. And I forget who it was.
McCain?
McCain, yeah. So the from a marketing standpoint, as you guys know, I do the Mastering Local Marketing podcast every Thursday with Matt Hansen. He has me thinking in certain terms of like, well, what'll work? What's a strategy? What's a strategy? If I was advising a Republican right now, I would be like, all right, come here. What is it you want to do? Well, I'd like to get elected and maybe get elected to a higher office or maybe solidify my position. And I would ask, is the best thing for you to do that right now to work, lay down for Donald Trump and show your fealty to Donald Trump? Or is the best thing right now to show your independence from Donald Trump? And I would say that you could probably hedge your bets. You could kind of stay in the Trump fold, but Trump came out and named Indiana Republicans, and several of them, that he wants to go after them and he wants to primary them. I mean, these are just people that like live down the street from the school and they go to the library and they're just like state reps and state senators, and he wants to go after them. I don't think that it hurt those people to stand up to him. I think that the next stage for Republicanism will be trying to find the people that were able to maintain their independent voice during the kind of Trump years where Trump had the hold on the Republican Party. Your thoughts?
Well, I would say that their constituents, I'm sure, reached out to them at some point. And so they are supporting what the voters support. And regardless to what Donald Trump wants, people are starting to distance themselves. I mean, look at Marjorie Taylor Greene. Unbelievable, the little petty tantrum that's taking place between the two of them. Name calling and what have you. She was one of his staunchest supporters. But the minute you step out of line and question something that the president does, you become his bitter enemy. And that took place in his last administration when people were leaving office and writing books, tell-all books, and then he tried to diminish their character. That's what he does. If anyone is intelligent enough to realize that his character is the main character that is questionable, then they would see through him. But a lot of people haven't yet. But I think in time they're going to whittle away the influence of Donald Trump on the Republican Party. And then we can actually look at our country again and say that the possibility of good leadership, sound leadership, is taking place. Because I question him bombing these boats out in this. How do you know who's on these boats? And what happened to due process? How do you just see something, say the boat's laden with drugs, even if it is, and you don't even arrest anybody, you just kill them? Is that the society that we want now? That if someone commits a crime or allegedly commits a crime, that they are automatically taken out? I think he's watched too much Tom Clancy movies. He's watched too many Tom Clancy movies or read, and I doubt if he's read too many Tom Clancy books. I practically have read every single one. And so what he is doing is just out of one of them practically.
I don't go as far as you do on the kind of the anti-Trumpness, but just from a marketing standpoint, that you can feel it. Front page of the Wall Street Journal today. By the way, if you're listening to this at another time, this is being recorded on November 18th of 2025. And I'm just charging my phone, so I don't have it. But I read it this morning, and they specifically mentioned Kansas and Indiana. And then I saw one of the talking heads on one of the shows say, well, it's not that surprising because Kansas, although a red state, has always had a really independent streak, and so has Indiana. They're kind of like the two most independent, thinking red states. I'm kind of proud of the Republicans that stood up on this because they did it.
I'm extremely proud of them. Definitely. You have to remember,
Hold on a second. Pull that mic back up. Sorry. There you go.
Mitch Daniels and the former vice president came out of Indiana. And the fact that both of them have stood up against some of the things that are taking place within the Republican Party just shows you that all Republicans do not follow Donald Trump mindlessly.
It kind of looks like our governor does and Todd Rokita do.
But not all do. But Todd Rokita will be on his way out, hopefully, and so will the governor, hopefully.
Yeah, I disagreed with Weezer. I'm like, Jim, Indiana is a lot of people that really, there's a lot of truly, deep down Republicans that want to follow Donald Trump. But there's a lot of people that I always put them in, and I got a bunch of cousins in and around Indianapolis. They're in the leave me alone Republicans. I don't want to deal, just leave me alone. I'm a conservative person with my finances, with my morals, with my life. I'm married and I live a reasonably staid life. And some of this kind of stuff that is like all swirled up and there's constant weird things happening, it just can't handle the pace. If anything else, I keep talking about the pace. And I'm like, these Republicans, like my cousin Dwayne and like all of my family, I feel like they're kind of getting tired of it. And I'm not sure what it is.
Well, as it should be, because, if you put Donald Trump as your example of morality, then you definitely have no clue what morality is.
All right. So on the other side, it's pretty clear that your Democratic Party, I don't even know what they stand for right now. I don't know a plan.
They stand for working people. They stand for everyone being able to provide food on the table for their families, health care in the event that someone gets ill, being able to have affordable homes and housing. They stand for jobs, job creation. They stand for unions and making sure that everyone has an opportunity to have a good life. They stand for a balanced lifestyle.
So I think you and I have talked about this, and I think it came down to a real big argument once where we were kind of mad at each other. And
Jim, I could never get mad at you.
You know how many things it really agitate Verly about what I do? And one of those is eating on the air. So I'm going to take a big swig right now.
It's that language that really gets to me, though.
Yeah. So here's how on the other side. All right, let's look at what we have here. We have a congressman, Frank Mervan, that is pretty much almost like a centrist Democrat. He's got some Republicans that switched over and will vote for him, and it's kind of what pushes him forward and kind of makes him tough to beat, even though they really want to beat him, right? So you got kind of a centrist Democrat here. And then you go to New York City, and they elect what is a Democratic socialist. So that's way to the left. And by the way, I want to give a plug for Des Bishop, the Bishop Exchange. The Bishop Exchange, Des Bishop is my son-in-law's, I guess, brother-in-law, and I know him, and he's a comedian. He grew up in Ireland and New York, and he and this soccer player dude that I know, I've met him before. They're kind of celebrities in England and Ireland, but they do a podcast called The Bishop Exchange, and you got to go listen to it. And Des Bishop, in the latest episode, made the point. He's like, I live in and around New York and West Hampton, and he goes, this guy, Mamdani, is really not doing anything different than what they do in a number of European cities and countries that are doing really well, like Stockholm and, all the Northern European and all these countries that are kind of democratic socialist, and they have certain policies. And I started to think about it. I go, all right, so I look at it like we were talking about kind of two directions for the Republican Party. I think there's even a more clear-cut direction change for the Democratic Party. You have the Frank Mervan centrist Democrat in the middle of the country. He even has Republicans come over and vote for him. And then you have Mamdani, who's got all the young people all excited and everything as a democratic socialist. I'm not altogether sure those people are even on the same path.
And they may very well not be, just like most Republicans are not all on the same path. But this is what this country's built on.
Yeah,
And
but
so
I don't know
what
how
works in
your
New
party...
York- But what works in New York may not necessarily be what works in Indiana.
So how do you put those two groups together?
Well, I don't think that everyone has to be in the... See, this is what happened with the Republican Party. Everyone got in lockstep behind Donald Trump. Regardless to what they did, there was no filter. He just did it. If the Democrats have the people who think like AOC or the people who think like Frank Mervan, that to me is more of what this country is based on, where people have different ways. You can debate the issues. You can come together for common causes. That's what California is different from New Hampshire. So let's have representation from what this country actually looks like.
All right, speaking of representation, I want this on this segment of our podcast. Last week...
What podcast?
That's what this is now. We just tape little sections and it goes up, and all you got to do is go to Jim Dedelow and then it'll be there. Pretty soon it'll be Verley Unplugged, but we won't get into that. Verley, here's one that you and I, and we'll preview the next section too, is that the Catholic bishops came out and they said that they rebuked America as a country, even the bishops that are here, they're not Canadian or Mexican or whatever. They rebuked America for basically forgetting about the human dignity of people in the mass deportation and the ripping apart of families and how it's done. And for me, that was a wake-up call. We're both pretty heavy Catholic, and I don't really want to think about the fear that people are living under and the families that have been ripped apart. You should have seen on a Friday, Kuziak had this family in, and the little girl was in juvenile, and she was a citizen, and it took a while for them to get through it, and they just ripped them in and threw them basically in jail. And then the meter reader in Cicero, he comes on there, he goes, man, I couldn't remember the hospital I was born in Berwyn, and so they threw me in the tank, you know what I mean? And I think that the bishops brought to light something I didn't personally want to look at or think about. And that is, am I part of a country right now that is losing sight of human dignity?
Most definitely.
And I don't know what to follow my church, or in my philosophy, follow my church or follow my country. And when I come on the air, I've got a specific, I got a platform. People are going to listen to what I say, and I try to think it through. And typically I just say, hey, this is America. These are the rules, and this is what we're doing. And where, we elect the whole system set up like this, and if we voted for people that want to do this and just, rip people out of their homes in that way, criminals or not, and then it did not come real until I'm like, man, now my church is telling me this. And it reminds me of Father Weiss when I was a kid. I'm sitting there in like 3rd grade and 4th grade and 5th grade. You know what it's like when you listen to the same priest all the time. And his whole thing was, you remember this as you get older. You follow the laws of God before the laws of man. And I'm like, holy moly, Father Weiss is like hanging over me right now. Anyways,
He gave
how
you
about
good
you?
advice. Let's take a break. We'll come back and discuss it. If we have phone calls, let's
We
clear
got
the calls.
plenty. All right, I will, and I got room for one more. 219-845-1100. I will come back and go right to the phone lines on the voice and face of the region. Remember, we're on YouTube, so no music today, baby. everybody. Welcome in on to Jim Dedelow Show with Burley. And I want to say thank you to all the people watching on YouTube. I did not want to be on YouTube. I wanted to go back to radio and audio and maybe a podcast here and there. And Verley Suggs and Joe Cimino and Matt Kaufman and Lynette Lopez are a team of 4 students from Purdue Northwest. One is from IU, I think. And then, no, they're all PNW. And I basically turned it over to them. So if you have issues on YouTube, wherever else, all you got to do is start by emailing Adriana, 2 N's, at WJOB1230 or Joe at WJOB1230.com. Don't send it to me. Let's take a look at traffic. 294 around the city actually has gotten really bad all of a sudden. And basically from the Stevenson all the way to O'Hare. So, really good thing you're not flying right now, man. It'll take you a long time to get there. That is a good 15 to 20 minute delay. I'm not sure what it is. Looks like there was an accident. Slow traffic on a ramp, some construction at their overnight stuff. So I don't see an accident. It's just really bad on the 294 to O'Hare, but close to O'Hare. 80 going east and west of Joliet looks good. Bishop Ford, you're moving along pretty well up until about halfway across the Steel Bridge. And then from halfway across the Steel Bridge all the way downtown, it's bad. So I'm going to put it out right now. Watch the Bishop Ford or even maybe stay off the Bishop Ford and go to the Skyway and the toll road if you still have that chance. You also have an accident on the Borman right now. It's an overturned semi. All lanes are blocked eastbound right at Torrance Avenue. So people coming from, going to or coming back from O'Hare would be a real problem right now, as that overturned semi has blocked all the lanes on the Borman. Just happened, and it is going eastbound as a problem. I'm charging my phone. I'll look at it, and I'm sure I'm getting texts on that. I had a couple guys at the Y this morning say they wish they had one of these, but you have to have certain special powers. But I have one of the coolest, really thick, perfect for this weather, United Steelworkers Local 7-1 oil workers. They gave me one of these things, and I wear it with pride when it gets cold, but you can't have one, all right? You don't get one. I also want to say thank you. That's from Eric Schultz at Local 7-1. Also, thanks to the Carpenters. Used to be Carpenters 599, 1005, all that stuff. Nope, it's Local 2950. And I wanted to make sure that I had some 599 paraphernalia as 599 was phased out. Sam Garduno and Josh came over yesterday, and they gave me a beautiful quarter zip with 599 on it and then the 599 patch on the back. So thank you. Any of you other unions, you got to step it up. I got a nice plumber's one. I do. I got some electrician stuff. I got it from every union. But if you get new stuff, it needs to land on my desk. I want a large. I don't want extra large because that's everything that you guys always order. I need a large, not an extra large. All right. Verley Suggs is with us. Let's do this podcast is being recorded on November 18th of 2025. Let's go to the phone lines. Hey, you're on the air. How are you?
Good morning, Jim and Verley.
Good morning.
I know why the radio station not working properly, so when Verley was sitting there, you could have the camera on her because you wore a rain poncho, so the hair on your back didn't get wet. You hurried up and climbed up the tower, put an umbrella on the flashing light. How's that, Jim?
I'm not altogether sure you're that far from the truth, man. Except my poncho was actually a Local 7-1 from the oil workers. So
Is it waterproof?
It is not waterproof.
Oil-proof.
It's oil-proof. Exactly.
Now, this is my opinion and how I feel this morning, and then I'm going to let it be as that. But last night it was on the news about that husband and wife that she was 3 centimeters of having a baby, and she was discharged from Francis's Health in Crown Point. Now, if each and everybody goes to Franciscan Health website and reads their mission, I read the whole thing. Catholic nuns, they read their mission of the Catholic nuns, their mission of that policy of that hospital. But I didn't see anywhere that it said on the bottom of the mission if they're only out there to make money, because they shut down St. Margaret's, right?
They did.
Okay, so now, what if 8 minutes they left from that hospital to hurry up and get to another hospital? What if that father, when he delivered that baby and had complications, and that baby died? Okay, is that dignity of that hospital to the lady saying she's having a baby? My wife, I asked her, I says to my wife, I says, she's 3 summers. My wife says, that lady's having a baby. That was wrong. I hope, they said, it was on the news, they want to change the policies. No, I feel so sorry for that family. I hope they sue the pants off of that hospital and them nuns. And maybe they'll own that hospital and they'll treat people like they're supposed to be treated.
Mike, I'm going to cut you off. Thank you. Let's talk about this.
I want to respond to that. That's sad that happened. Thank God the baby was born healthy and is now being taken care of. But on behalf of Franciscan Hospital, I have to say this. My daughter was in Hyde Park, went into labor a month early. They drove from Hyde Park to Crown Point to Franciscan, walked in the door. She was already dilated and crowning. They delivered my grandson. He was in the neonatal unit for a week. They are some of the most wonderful, caring people that exist. And so mistakes get made. That was a huge one. But I'm not going to bash Franciscan because I know that the care that they provide to people all over the place where they have facilities, I'm not going to bash them.
Mike brings up a good point. They left Hammond, built a big thing in Crown Point, and this is here's what the Times says. Franciscan Health has confirmed that a viral video showing a woman in labor being turned away was at its Crown Point hospital. The hospital's CEO called the video deeply troubling and said officials are conducting an internal investigation into the alleged incident. In a statement to the Times, Franciscan CEO Raymond Grady said the hospital is, quote, grateful to learn from online and media reports that both mother and child are reportedly doing well. The video and the comments it has generated are deeply troubling, and we understand the concern that it has raised. The video is just one part of the information we are reviewing, blah, blah, blah. Here's what it does. The video shows a woman in a wheelchair apparently struggling with labor pains in what looks like a medical facility. It then shows her being wheeled out and reportedly sent to another facility before ending with her holding a newborn in a vehicle.
Yeah. I mean, it's terrible that happened.
So, I just followed the PR part of it. So the dad delivers a baby in the car?
Yes. Yes, they said she was only dilated to 3 centimeters, and they felt that, her labor had not progressed enough for them to admit her. Sadly, that was a grave mistake that they made. But that's why there are attorneys. Malpractice suits take place every single day based on decisions that are made in hospitals or in doctors' offices. And so it will be handled through the courts. But I'm not going to do a public campaign against Franciscan for that mistake, because I'm sure there's a lot of mistakes that have been made in hospitals around this region that don't make the front page of the paper.
What do you guys think? I mean, Franciscan is ours, you know what I mean? It's like it was St. Margaret's, and many of you were born there.
My daughter was born there. The one that gave birth at Franciscan was born at St. Margaret's in Hammond.
Do you remember the name of the hospital you were born in?
Sydenham in New York City. Same
Okay.
place that Lou Alcindor was born. He was the famous person born
So,
in that city, right in Manhattan.
The reason I
It's no
say
longer
that is
there.
that everyone should remember that, because that's what one of the things they ask. Oh, you were born. What was the name of the hospital? And then you're like, if you can't think of it, I'm not altogether sure I know the name of the hospital. I was born
That's
in
why I'm a city
Lafayette.
girl, born in Manhattan.
I was born in Lafayette, and I think it closed a long time ago, St. Elizabeth. But anyways, commentary on multiple videos claims the woman gave birth 8 minutes later in her vehicle.
That's crazy.
Some social media users have accused the hospital of racism, noting that the woman is black. You think that was a factor?
My daughter's black. I'm black. She received excellent care at that hospital. So, are there deficiencies in health care for black women in this country? Yes. Is the mortality rate for black infants higher than other races? Yes. So, yes, those things do exist. But I believe the person who's in charge of the hospital is a black man, right? So, I'm not going to say that racism played, because I don't know what the reason why they did not admit her. I'm sure it'll come out in court. I know that when I would walk into the front desk, there was a couple of black women sitting there checking people in and, asking what room you were going to. I mean, at some point, they knew which room I was going to every time I came. So I don't know that racism played a role in that decision to send her home. I hope not.
Verley, I'm with you on the viability of Franciscan. I went over there and I got a great doctor right in the old Hammond Clinic where I grew up going to it. And I didn't realize they had basically kicked out all of the specialists. It's just primary care in that whole building.
You go everywhere else for specialists.
Yeah, I mean, you walk in. I don't want people to know this, but you walk, until you got a really good emergency room. And then I got a doctor there that he was new when he came in. And I said, I'll give him a shot. I don't know anything about him. And now he's really busy, but he'll basically see me anytime, so I don't really have to go to the emergency room. And, he's like, hey, dude, you get one of these. He looks at my insurance, and he's like, hey, you get a wellness thing once a year, dude. You got to use it. I go, are you drumming up business? And he's like, no. And he goes, I went to go see my buddy upstairs, and I got this whole wellness thing going. It's a kind of a big factor in my life. I come from here. I go to the doctor right by my house.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's all right there.
Dr. DiFilippo, I've been going to him for decades.
I
Every time I
agree
walk
with-
in the door, he's like, you still working? I'm like, yep.
What happened? Now, the hospital is saying in their statement, privacy laws limit what they can share, but they stress that the videos and the narrative surrounding that do not accurately represent Franciscan Health Crown Point's Catholic Health Care Ministry's values, which include respect for life, compassionate concern, and Christian stewardship. So they're not saying, I mean, what would happen that you would turn a woman in labor away? I just don't understand what would, I mean, oh, all right, you're not covered or you don't have insurance or there's a problem there. I get that. But when a woman's in labor, I think a lot of that goes out of the window. So, I mean, I would love to see the A, B, C, D, E. I have Semino and Adriana doing a crisis management situation over Andrain and the Kuziak situation. And they're working with a guy that I know that works in this field. And there are certain strategies. And one of those, when you're done with the situation, is you have to have a policy at the end. And that's what I'm trying to get them to develop is like, all right, what do we do when someone says something kind of silly or stupid on the air or vulgar? How do we handle it? What's the procedure? They better do that here, man. I mean, you sending a woman away and they have the baby in the car. Mike was right. What if there was any sort of problem?
There's so many things that could have gone wrong in that situation. The baby's cord could have been around his neck. He could have been not breathing. There's so many things that could have happened. It's just the blessing of God that the baby is fine, but it was definitely wrong what happened.
Hey, let's take a couple phone calls. Hey, what do you think, huh?
Well, I think, good morning, first of all. Thanks for taking my call. I think it's okay, people, it's okay to have a difference of opinion, even if you're within your own party. You don't need to be called a name. You don't need to be called a communist or a socialist. And I find the socialist word being thrown around so much, I find that pretty hypocritical, because here we are again, which we had to bail out our farmers. We are bailing out our farmers, and at the same time, we are giving Argentina not 20, but up to $40 billion. What happened to America first? That really got swept under the table, and they throw all these other shiny things out there that we're not supposed to look at. But that's a lot of money that could have been put to like the SNAP programs, paying down our debts, or taking care of health care, actually having a plan instead of taking. I don't understand it, and I am quite conservative in a lot of ways, but this is just, it makes no sense.
We're kind of bumping around on a couple of different topics, and one of those is we're talking about like the redistricting here in Indiana was not going forward, and what does that mean? Are there Republicans that are skipping away from Trump? And then also the Democratic Party has kind of two wings right now also. And I'm with you. I kind of like it in a weird way. I'm glad people are disagreeing and arguing, and but not calling each other names as much.
It's okay, but there are still, I have friends and family that if you start talking a certain way, right away you're vilified, you're not a patriot, you're a communist, you're this, you're that, and in the meantime, this Epstein's thing is still brewing. But just like with the when the Mueller file happened, there's so much that has been redacted that that would have really been interesting if we would have everybody would have been able to see the actual Mueller file. There is so much of the Epstein file that has been redacted that it's pathetic, and it goes back to the day when Bondi had her table full, her desk full of all these files, allegedly, and then all of a sudden we went crickets for how long? So the only thing is, if you follow the money, I believe Chase and some of the banks red flagged years ago millions of almost it added up to close to $1 billion of money laundering and blackmail money, basically, that was going on from Epstein, and nobody followed up on that. And I think if they look into that, that may open up a lot of doors too.
All right, man. Thanks for your phone call. 219-845-1100. Hey, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Well, I'm kind of blame that woman that was pregnant because she didn't read the MX emergency book. She probably was really brave. When you go into the emergency, and I've been there over 12 times, busted up, you don't go in there acting tough and say everything's all right, because they're going to release you. You go in that emergency room looking like you're ready to bawl. Please help me. I can't take this pain anymore. And it becomes a different story. The poor woman, she probably would have got treated a lot better. She needs to read the MX book on going to the emergency. I'm a pro at it. I've been there so many.
Hold on a second. I did not see the video. Did you?
No.
I didn't either. So, are you blaming the victim on this, that she was pregnant and dilated and she didn't act?
No, not at all.
No, he's just.
I used to go in emergency rooms. I used to go in emergency rooms acting a tough guy, and they release you. If you go in there, you can't be tough. You have to say, I'm in a lot of pain. Please help me. Otherwise, they're going to release you. I know. Now listen to this. The video. I didn't call about the Epstein files, and Trump's going to release them, and Clinton's in trouble, and I didn't call about the poor lady. I really feel bad for her. I called about what happened everything comes through MX cartoons, okay? I only wanted 200 members. I'm up to 523. That video, that's 2 strikes now against Purdue. First, by the way, Burley, I do have that video of white privilege, and now this video. And this, I was definitely for College Bound because Jimmy Carter is the reason I became an apprentice in 1978. So I was definitely for College Bound. But when I see videos like this, and I see somebody calling me white privilege, I would like that man to come up with me on the towers and hang upside down. I get leery about it. You understand? And McDermott said that I actually for this data center, and I'm going to tell you why. But when McDermott says he wants that money to go to College Bound, he's got 2 strikes against Purdue's got 2 strikes against him, Judd.
So I don't understand what's the correlation between College Bound, seeing students get an education from the city. What
They're
is college?
teaching indoctrination against white older men.
How is it
I'm
indoctrination?
not paying for that. Burley, there's a lot you can't get. I understand that. But I don't like walking around as a target on my back, and I'm paying to be a target on my back.
So explain to me what you're paying and what your complaint is. Because you keep talking about this College Bound.
I'm paying for College Bound to be indoctrinated. For some a professor to say I'm white privilege. I was never white privilege.
So is the professor on College Bound?
No, he's a professor.
All right, so what?
It tells me you're totally lost.
All right,
But
hey,
here's
hold
the
on.
thing,
All
MX.
right, go ahead.
Okay,
Bro.
really?
You're trying to get racism out of this, and you can't find it. I'm telling you right now.
So then you are against what the professor said. It has nothing to do with College Bound, okay?
I'm
So
not
stop
paying
correlating the two, okay?
I'm not paying some professor out of my money for kids to go to College Bound to tell them that I'm not paying the freight.
Oh, I thought that College Bound was paid for by water fees that the mayor charges.
You're trying to find out racism in
All
this.
right, hold on, MX. Hold on. Hold on. Slow down, okay? Just slow down.
You need
I love you,
All
brother.
right, just slow down, because you
I don't
get.
want you to have a heart attack, but I thought College Bound was paid for through water fees that the mayor charges other communities.
So what, their water fees or whatever it is can go back to the city, and I wouldn't have a wheel tax. I wouldn't have a food
Okay, all right,
beverage
slow down,
tax,
MX, because you.
100%. Come on, Burley.
Just slow down.
I
College
still love
bound
you, though.
professors, I get all
Thank
that.
you for loving me, MX.
You get to an issue
Like a
that
moron.
we don't very often talk about here, is that you're an older white male and you feel as if there's a target on your back. Why?
When a professor comes out and says you're over 55 years old, and I got that video, believe me, and I'm white privileged, well, I'll tell you what, if you couldn't do one day of the work I did climbing up in the air, hanging iron in the tower gang, I guarantee it.
All right, we understand your manliness and that you lie about the circumference of your bicep because you're old now and it's gone down like 3 inches. But here's the
More
thing.
than that.
I
More
want
than
you
that.
to explain to me why older white men are now the enemy.
Because you're teaching that in college. The professor came out, Jet, and you said you don't believe in it in the video, but you forgot. You've already forgot because it's been many videos ago. But what I'm trying to say, I'm for College Bound.
Oh, good.
But you better switch around what you're teaching. And when these kids get out, they have to come with the man, which was MX. And one of them kids was assigned to the tower gang. He got up about halfway up that ladder. Not a ladder, not a staircase. And he got scared and he locked up. And I had to walk him back down. I said, you can fall. I got you.
All right.
All right,
I get the
MX.
idea.
So here's the thing. You can
I'm a
be
big
against
bad
what
dude.
the
I'm the
teacher
big bad
said,
wolf.
what the professor
Big
said,
iron. Go
but
ahead.
don't be against the program that has benefited so many students
I
getting an
don't
education.
know,
They don't
Verlie.
all go to Purdue, and those that
Strike it.
do, we have some here right here in this studio that do a phenomenal job.
Yeah,
So
everything.
please.
Trump is bad. I've heard it. Trump is bad.
Well,
Trump
that might
is
be
bad.
true, but
All right,
No, it's
thank
thanks
you.
for your call.
You know, I want on that topic, just to show that I did my homework. You know, this CEO of Ford Motor, Jim Farley, he came out with some incredible discussions about, he said, a bay with lift and tools and no one to work in it. Are you kidding me? Nope. We do not have trade schools in this country. He said that he's got openings for, I don't know, 5,000 jobs at $120,000 a job to be a mechanic.
And he can't find the
and he
people.
can't find people. I mean, it was really a very telling interview.
It's happening everywhere. Look, Boeing is increasing their military production because of the needs all around the world, and they're building onto facilities, adding new facilities, and it's finding the workers now.
You know, MX is right on one. I mean, and, you know, the Wall
He
Street
loves
Journal.
hearing you say he's right.
Well, I mean, I don't know what the heck is others. I mean, I literally not really following it. I feel like in the Big Lebowski. I'm sorry, could you repeat that? I wasn't listening. But the editorial board of the Wall Street Journal came out and said, listen to this stat. In the last 10 months, 114,000 Americans in their 20s completed a trade school. 114,000. In that same period, 1.24 million young people graduated from four-year colleges, and 405,000 received advanced degrees. So,
And they can't even make anywhere near the money that those
in the
trade school graduates are making.
the unemployment rate in the trade school graduates is way lower than the recent graduates that are coming out and can't find jobs.
Yes.
I mean, he's right about one thing, and that is that all of this, we need to push kids to the unions and to the trades and all that stuff. Why am I like overloaded? I can't play all my spots, even on games or on in the morning, because the trades need to attract people, and there's just so many, and they're all going after the same group, and you know they just don't have that. We say we want to push kids to trade schools, and then we have programs like College Bound, and then we have parents that are like, you're getting an education when
So now you're knocking College Bound too?
No, I'm not.
Oh,
I'm just saying that
everybody is not a homeowner in Hammond. So every child in Hammond does not benefit from College Bound. Only those parents who own their property. So there's so many people who can still go to trade school, and there are people who own property who can, their kids may still want to go to trade school.
if I'm not mistaken, that money can also be used for trade school. So the program in itself is solid, and I agree with it. And I told a guy that I know that has a town in California, and he kind of runs it. I go, you need to do this. And they have like a gold mine there. So he's like, man, maybe, you know, so College Bound is an example.
I mean, Gary has something similar.
Yes.
With
I mean,
the Hard Rock, they pay for students from the Gary schools to go to IU.
but the point is that they're paying for them to go to IU when, all right, well, why we all say we're going to be pushing for trade schools, and we're not really doing it. You go into your guidance counselor at the local high school, and it's always like, well, you know, you got pretty good grades, you should go straight into college. There are people that right now that I know that came in and they went into the electricians, or they went into the carpenters, or they went into the laborers right out of high school. They retire at 50, and then they go get another job.
But they come to the career fairs, Jim. All these positions, these trades, they attend the career fairs. It's up to the students to go where they feel it best fits them.
It's not working. In Indiana, and I got to give it to Holcomb. Holcomb was all over this. He's like, man, we got to go for trades. I've had him on the air here, and he talked about, it's all about the trades, and it has been a huge priority that's not working. I mean, I honestly believe it's just
But
not
it's
working.
probably that the students don't recognize it.
Hey,
They don't
let's-
recognize the value. I mean, we had the Indiana plan. That brought a lot of people into the electrical unions and what have you, people who normally would not have gone because a lot of people had the misconception, and it wasn't maybe a misconception, it was in actuality that minorities were not welcome in the trades. And so that's also changing the narrative, changing how you promote and advertise to attract people and let them know that they are welcome.
I'll tell you exactly. I mean, the Indiana plan has definitely made a dent, and it has changed a number of lives by basically kids who didn't even know what a union carpenter was or a union electrician or teamster or anything, and then you go in and they're not part of a legacy of people who've been in the union 3 or 4 generations. Right. They don't know it's there, but it's so small. I'm sorry. Anyways, we got to
take a break. Our producer's in the house, and she is.
I am no longer in charge.
The seat and
I am no longer in charge. All right, stay on the line. If you're there, they're all full, so you'll lose your spot. Adriana, I got it. All right, I'm no longer in charge. I'm leaving. I get that look. We'll be right back on the Voice and Face of the Region. AM 1230, WJOB 104.7 FM, the voice and face of the Calumet region. That was, of course, the microwave going at it. All right, let's take a look. Adriana, I looked up and down around this place. I can't find one of my glasses, and that's
Okay, hold on. Give me like 10
I
seconds.
Got you. So here we go with the traffic. 294 around the city has been a problem all morning long, just bad. So if you're driving to O'Hare, allow some extra time. I don't see an accident, but from the Stevenson all the way to O'Hare, it's stop and go. And I don't know, an extra 15, 20 minutes allow if you're driving up to O'Hare that way. 80 going east and west. Joliet looks pretty good. The Bishop Ford into the Dan Ryan is Bishop Ford's fine. Then it's red lights and the garbage dump on the backside of the steel bridge, and that lasts all the way downtown. And here on the Borman has big problems. You had an overturned semi right eastbound coming from Illinois to Indiana right near the state line, and that has backed things up past the Bishop Ford entrance, and it's just a mess. If you know anybody coming back that way, I'd probably get off around Halstead, go south, and go to 30 if you're going to Cherville or Dyer or something like that, if you can get off. And it's also got a little bit of a gaper's delay going westbound, but not too bad. So traffic is not good this morning as it's drizzling everywhere. I wonder if that's part of it. But Adriana Alvarez with the weather.
Currently right now at the Shack Advanta Studios, it is 38 degrees. Today we're getting to see highs of 45 degrees and lows of 38, on and off rain and drizzle. And we're going to stay in those 40s to 50 degree weather throughout the week with Wednesday highs of 45, lows of 39 and cloudy. Then on Thursday, back with the rain with a high of 54 degrees and a low of 42, mostly cloudy with a touch of rain in the afternoon.
Adriana Alvarez, Against My Will, has us on YouTube. And Adriana...
You've done such a good job of playing non-copyright music, I will say. Thank you.
I was getting emails at 11 o'clock last night, do this, don't do that. And also, I just want to tell you guys, I am pleasantly surprised and kind of proud of Adriana, Joe Samito, Matt Kaufman, and Lynette Lopez. I don't know how we attracted such kind of talent, but the podcast network is growing voluminously. And if you want a podcast, get a hold of Adriana. Do not come to me. I didn't really want it to grow like this. I just wanted basically just wanted to do my podcast. And now, I don't know, we almost got a couple dozen now. So Adriana at WJOB1230.com. I am honored to be here with the biggest anti-podcaster in America, and that is Verly Suggs. And that's too bad because Verly Suggs, I went back and forth between Fox and CNN last night, Verly, and you're better. You know what I mean? It's just network quality.
I'm used to getting my way, Jim.
Not here.
I know. So here's the thing. I was feeling a little bit like Johnny Carson, but then I said, nah, I got to say Arsenio Hall because his show was better.
Can you move your mic closer to your mouth?
But
I don't know why.
I don't know
it
about
sounds echoey. That's why.
Thank you. Is it better now?
You know why it's echoey? Because I have the wireless mic. While she's talking, I'm going to put a headset on.
Okay.
That's why you're getting that. Okay, go ahead.
Then I'm going to mute your
So, Jim, I don't like you sitting so low because I feel like I'm towering over you, and I see you when I got a pillow to sit on. It looks like the cow guy's face, but it seems like I'm too high up. And
we can move the chairs down if you want, but then I notice I feel like I'm like this on the desk because it's too low.
Right. So I don't know. Maybe next time I should sit in a chair and kind of face him.
You're on pink.
So I'm not feeling like you're on detention and I'm the teacher.
You ever watch Jimmy Fallon, or you ever watched Kimmel? Mm-hmm. They're like 9 inches higher than the guest.
Yeah,
I don't know why that was.
I like being on the same level.
You ever watch old Johnny Carson ones? Once in a while, I'll go back there and watch Johnny Carson with Raquel Welch when he said that really inappropriate thing. I want to pet.
I can't remember what he said.
I want to pet. She had a cat on her. She had a cat, whatever. Yeah.
Right.
But anyways,
like
or
Trump.
Don Rickles is on, or Richard Pryor.
My favorite was Joan Rivers as his guest.
Oh gosh, how many cigarettes can you smoke and still talk? But that was back when you could really get kind of nasty to each other.
Yes.
But anyways, Carson was always 6 inches higher than everybody.
I know, but I just don't feel like I want to be higher than you. But let's go to the
All
phone
right,
lines,
I need-
Adriana, because I know a lot of people are waiting.
Can I
Yes,
say this?
Yes, you can.
Right now, the food bank is just getting slammed.
Oh my gosh.
And all you got to do your little bitty part is go to your Strachan Van Til location and round up. If you're wealthy, round up. Say, hey, slap another 20 on there, and they can do that too. But the food bank needs your help. We will be doing the Kuziak food drive, just so you know, and we'll talk a little bit more about that on Friday. But we will not forego that. We know that a lot of people want to give us food so that we could take it to the food bank, and they want to give us money. So Kuziak's food drive will go on December 12th. Starts, if you're a civic organization or whatever, start telling people that you're going to dump some stuff here and overload us. We'll get as many people here as we need to take all that food over there. And better yet, if you want to just give us a check, write it straight to Northwest Indiana Food Bank from your organization or from your personal situation, just your account or whatever. That's all right.
Most definitely. Let me tell you something. The food bank Saturday morning, as I drove past the food bank, the line stretched from the food bank down 61st Avenue, across Harrison, all the way down to Cleveland Street. That's how far the line stretched for the food bank Saturday morning. They're overwhelmed. Money has been cut from their budget. The best thing you can do is, if you're able, donate money. That way they're able to purchase the items that they need rather than a lot of random food things and trying to make it work. But money is the best way to benefit the food bank because their budget has been cut so much so that the president can build a ballroom.
It's very interesting to see, actually, because I have a class that for marketing, for digital marketing, we have to take on a client and do throughout Google Ads. And one of our clients is Food Bank of Northwest Indiana. And to look at the statistics, we did make something about SNAP when SNAP was being cut, and people feared that they weren't going to get their SNAP benefits.
Some still haven't.
Over 1,000 people have clicked on that Google ad alone.
Yeah.
And it's I don't really want to do this for a grade, but it's really interesting to see the statistics and the analytics come in for it. So
speaking of marketing, go to masteringlocal.marketing.com or Mastering Local Marketing.
Way to plug it.
And you could, we have a podcast there, but I do want to let you guys know that, yes, we can sell you TV ads on sports, and we can sell you radio ads on news and talk and that kind of stuff. We're also moving into exactly what Adriana is talking about. We can also buy your social media, and we can manage that with the addition of Matt Hansen, and of course with Adriana Alvarez can help with that also. So we're trying to become more of a rounded marketing place to go. TV, radio, and now social. I don't know what else you need. Let's go to the phone lines. 219-845-1100.
Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Well, good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Ron.
How you all doing? How you doing, Mr. Dedelow and Adriana and the other person that's there?
well.
Appreciate you all letting me on the line this morning. Sometime, you have those distractions. They oh no. But let me just say, Jed, something ran right by you last week, and you were talking about Frank Mervan, and I guess, and you started this morning talking about the redistricting. You said that Frank Mervan is a centrist. Did you not?
I see him that way.
Okay, yeah, okay. I kind of see him that way too. That's not a bad thing. But I'm just simply saying that right now, let's say if a good Democrat, and I'm not saying that last was a bad Democrat nominees, they want to take a guy like a centrist, Frank Mervan, if he could reach across America, he could become VP. Not saying that he's running. I even never heard him say it. But when you said that, you say, did you hear what Ron said? But you didn't go any further than that. That's where I was going with that.
All right. Let's talk about both of these. All right, Ron, hold on. First, we'll talk about Mervan as a possible VP, and then we'll talk about McDermott as a possible governor. Okay.
Okay.
Now,
okay. So we can do
both.
Really,
what you're talking about is two Democrats that are not Mayor Mamdani. Okay, they are.
Right.
I know both of them well, and they're pretty down the middle-ish.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's the direction of the Democratic Party. It seems like they're getting a lot more young people and a lot more social media engines with Mamdani and the European model of government versus, say, kind of middle of the road Democrats. That's my point. I mean, what's your thought?
Okay. Well, yeah, middle of the road. I agree there. I agree. Now the situation with the guy in Pennsylvania was what's his name?
John Fetterman.
No, not him. The governor of Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay, I don't know what you're talking about, but go ahead.
He's the governor of Pennsylvania. He was considered to be a presidential on the Harris. But anyway, and you take him, and you take a guy like from California being a Democratic nominee. What was that, Burley?
Shapiro. The guy's name was Shapiro. Yeah.
Josh Shapiro. And you take a guy like California, which is they are potential candidates now in 2028. And you take a guy like, let's say, we want to pick a centrist. What would be a better pick than a person from a state like Indiana has a popularity? It doesn't matter. He believed that we're redistricting. He believes that if you do it, we're gonna work all over. And he's a worker, and he's basically knows how to cross the aisle. So that's my prediction that could happen. Now,
all right. Can I address that and let Verley address it? All right.
Yes.
I think that you bring up a remote possibility, but it is a possibility, and especially if Kamala Harris becomes the Democratic nominee, because now you have an African-American Indian woman from California, and you offset it with a tall white guy from the middle of the country. Now you have a kind of a geographically, ethnically balanced ticket, and Kamala Harris maybe could be a little bit left more than I would like sometimes, and then Frank Mervan would bring it to the center. So complete balance to it.
Hold on. I'm not saying that Kamala Harris. I just happen to believe that America might not be ready for a woman, period. Whether it be Harris or Clinton. I just really believe that. It's unfair.
I agree. I think that Hillary Clinton is one of the smartest women that there is and one of the best leaders, and she couldn't get elected. I don't think that America is ready for a woman president at this time.
Absolutely. And that
Maybe
just
in the
means
future,
I don't
know that it'll ever be Kamala Harris. The opportunity was there, and it didn't happen. So I just don't think that we should worry about a woman on the ticket right now.
All right, but hold on a second. I respect your opinions,
That's
but
just my opinion.
She's Newsom and her are kind of the front runners. They're both from California.
Yeah, but so here's the thing about that. Do you think that this black woman is going to say, "Okay, I'll be your vice president, Mr. Newsom"? That's not going to happen.
No.
He's not going to be her vice president because he wants to be president. So no, it's not going to happen. She might take his job as governor, but she's not going to be second to his powerful presidential position.
Like
she's already done that with Biden.
I'm like McDonald. I'm just loving it, Verily. Keep saying that. That's the truth. That's true. Now,
just because I co-host with you, Jim, doesn't mean everybody wants to co-host.
Yeah.
Some people want to be in charge.
Now, you know how sometimes these people cut me down, but I don't worry. I gave you a name.
So, Ron, why do you worry about what other people want to do and cut you down? It's like you invite that. When every time you say that, it's like, to me, you're inviting it. You kind of enjoy that.
This is possible. But anyway, Jed, I gave you a name a couple of years ago by the name of Shirley Dennis. You remember that name?
Yeah, she's still around?
Well, yeah, she's in Philadelphia. Burley, just in case you didn't know, maybe I told you, I have a cousin. She was the Secretary of Labor under Ronald Reagan.
Right, I remember you mentioning her.
Yeah, and Jed, you could pull up anytime, and I told you I need to give you a name. She was a Republican.
All right, hold on a second. All right, hold on.
Okay.
Can you set that up for not in the morning show for me just to interview Shirley Dennis as a podcast that we play? Okay. Thank you.
I will attempt to. All right. And I'm just saying that right now she was Secretary of Labor. Ronald Reagan was a Republican, as you very well know, but he got the Martin Luther King. He was a good. All Republicans are not bad. The former governor of Indiana. I mean, between him and Evan Bayh, I would take him. That's just Ron Matlock.
All right, Matlock, we're going to cut you off. Thank you. I got something right there. You know what? I don't think that people are giving credit here as much. There is kind of a little bit of a rebellion in the Republican Party right now. Mm-hmm. Did it start, or was a big impetus for it Mitch Daniels writing that big editorial in the Washington Post where he said we should not redistrict? You don't have to listen to a temporary occupant of the White House. He basically opened the door for some people that are kind of more centrist Republicans.
I'd say that is the case here in the state of Indiana. I don't know that I would say that his commentary went nationwide in influencing those people, but I would say in the state of Indiana it did.
I agree with you. I think that there are many Republicans downstate that are like, man, I don't want to do this. Well, Mitch said it's okay to go against Trump, so it's okay. And that, I think people are downplaying that. If Mitch Daniels doesn't write that, he doesn't talk to the media.
I don't think Pence would have had any weight on it, but Mitch Daniels coming out and saying that definitely, to me, influenced people in the state of Indiana.
You're going to bring another phone call in, right?
Yes, let's take another call. Adriana, go ahead. Good morning, call. You're on the air.
Hey, good morning, y'all.
Good morning.
Man, so much. You guys went through so many different things. Hey, first, Jim, the whole thing with the Ford saying that they can't find mechanics for their dealerships, that's not a lack of there being qualified mechanics out there. There's, I guess, just real quick, the biggest one would be like Facebook, Instagram Reels, Dave's Automotive. He, independent shop, he interviews his guys, asks them how much they used to make at a dealership and how much they're making from now, and it's 3 times as much. So there's a lot more to all that, tons of layers. You should interview some mechanics that left dealerships, and then interview some dealerships and see where it all comes out.
Well, I mean, what we're talking about is the CEO, Jim Farley of Ford, coming out. I'm pretty sure that he can't fill 5,000 mechanic jobs that pay $120,000 a year.
It's not a lot of money for a mechanic, man, because now what it is it's not just mechanics like you used to think of from the 80s, 90s, 70s, where it's just, strong and thimble fingers that can do small bolts, but also hard stuff. But now they got to be computer literate. So now they got to be a computer nerd for the first part to diagnose it, and then they got to be a mechanic. And they only want to pay them $120,000 an hour, or $120 an hour, or $20,000 a year. Sorry, I'm got me all.
That's more than people. Way more than people.
Said it's paying more than what most Ivy League graduates are making.
Yeah. It is. It's bigger than the average. Listen to what the guy said.
Mechanics get paid 3 times that, so he's just trying to find cheap work. That's all he's trying to do.
What mechanics?
All right, hold on a second. Well, I don't want to.
I'm telling you, Dave's Automotive on Facebook. I just told you, go to the Reels, and he interviews his guys. His guys get paid 3 times more than what they were making at.
And
dealership.
how many guys does he have working there?
They're
at Dave's Automotive, compared to the Ford Motor Plant. That's providing mega benefits in addition to salary.
All right, so you're saying he wants to get cheap labor at $120,000 a year. Here's what he said.
Yeah, because
all right, stop for a second.
It's not just computer literate. It's not just a mechanic. They have to be computer literate to diagnose. Like the engineers have made it so complicated to work on cars anymore. It's not just the normal mechanic.
I agree on that part.
He needs
but listen,
services, trucking, factory workers, plumbers, electricians, and tradesmen. Those are all
they're
the
all making way
for.
more than that.
He said Ford is struggling to hire mechanics at salaries that Ivy League grads envy. So what are you talking about?
Union electricians union plumbers, union electricians make way more money than that, you guys. Come on.
No, you're off base, man, and not around here. Maybe in Silicon Valley, $120,000. Your average electrician or plumber is making that. Let's do the math. Let's do the math. All right, let's say they make. All right, let's do the math right now on the back of my hairy wrist. Okay, $50 an hour, right? So if you do $50 an hour and you have 8 hours, then you make 40.
No. That Ford exec, that 120,000, that's not on a 40-hour week, dude.
Okay,
I'm telling you, interview some dealership mechanics.
Okay, but here's the issue that
there's no way.
I don't even want to argue that. I want to agree with Jim Farley, the CEO of Ford. He says we do not have trade schools in this country. And we are in trouble in our country. We are not talking about this enough.
An auto mechanic earns an average yearly salary of $45,650.
Right. So where is he coming up with this 120? I'm telling you, dealerships don't pay more than independent shops. All right.
That's not a dealership he's talking about. I thought you were talking about the plants.
All right. Well, you and I will argue about this at another time. What else did you call about?
So this video that's come out about Purdue University Northwest professor, I've heard for years friends that have sent kids to that school that it's definitely gotten pretty rough over the last 10 years. And I guess this professor just shows it. Like, she just comes in and just starts berating those kids. Like, they're just trying to have a meeting. It's pretty wild. Well, interested to see what comes out of all that, I guess, But anyways... All
right. Thanks, Jim. All right, hold on.
We had 3 kids there. It was a great hospital. The night nurses weren't the best, but other than that, the care was great. Interested to see what comes out of that, too, because I read a lot of posts, comments from people that claim to be nurses that said there's a lot more to that story, so we'll see.
Well, you said you had 3 kids at that Franciscan hospital?
At the old place.
Oh, okay, because that one just opened. I was going to say that would be amazing unless they were triplets.
Well, but it's the same staff.
All right, hold on. We got 2 things we got to hit. Thank you. I appreciate your phone call.
Adriana, do you want to address the Purdue issue since you're a student there?
What are they talking about? Because I think I know, but I just want to make sure that we're talking about the same thing.
I think it has to do with indoctrination.
That's turning point.
Did you feel that you were indoctrinated by your professors or anything?
No. If anything, I challenged their ideas. That's the whole point of my major. I've had a lot of classes where it's open discussion, and you're welcome to challenge what. Okay.
Go ahead.
No,
here it is.
You're welcome.
I'll give you this in a second, then you respond. Professor at Purdue University Northwest crashed a TPUSA meeting and mocked the students, calling them racists. And it's a African-American professor, evidently, on an Instagram post. I have not listened to this. I don't know anything about it, but it has gotten a lot of play.
This is the turning point issue when they were invited to come in.
So I saw it. I was there and I saw it. I was not in the meeting per se, but I saw it from a distance. And she went. So basically, the story of it is that the class that they were having was, I don't know the exact name of the class. My friend she's in the class, and it is where it's basically diversity, equity, and inclusion. It's one of the classes that you talk about race.
I thought you had to get rid of those classes, though.
They're still teaching them.
Really?
So that's the class that they have, and it's an open discussion class. They talk about things that are going on. And when Charlie Kirk passed away, that was a topic that they had for 2 days of their class. So I think their class is on a Monday and a Wednesday. So that Monday and Wednesday that week, it happened on a Wednesday. So the next week, that Monday and Wednesday, that was a topic for 2 days. And they analyzed what it is, like what happened and the different outcomes through that. Now, when talking about that, and then after Charlie Kirk had passed, the professor at her office, she had different things for the Black Student Union, for SOMOS, for all these different things. And somebody had took those things down. They said, we can't be too political. Those are political. You can't have those. You got to take them down. Well, on the veterans thing at P&W, they have a Remember Charlie Kirk poster. So they took down her SOMOs, they took down her Black Student Union, but the Charlie Kirk thing's not political. That's what she was saying, that it was kind of odd to see that. Now, when the students found out that they were going to have a Turning Point calling out meeting, they had one before. They had a table in the Student Union Lounge, and it did not get a great feedback from students. I just realized how, I'm talking to you guys here and the computer's blocking me. I'm so sorry. So they didn't have a lot of great feedback from that. P&W has a Instagram story that all students can join. It's welcome for your class and everything, that you can post different things. And it is through Instagram, and we've seen social media do that with a lot of other schools. I remember when I was in Bishop Knoll, there was a Snapchat one and an Instagram one. So
what did the professor say that got everybody
I'm getting to that point. So
okay.
The first one that they had a lot of not great feedback from the students. And everybody was screenshotting it because they posted it on the thing, and they said come out and all that, and it was like they were giving out free hot chocolate. You saw the Turning Point signs, you saw Remember Charlie Kirk, you saw all those things. Now students screenshotted it with their response, and they were saying how they didn't appreciate that this was being brought into a school that is 95% diversity, because based on what Charlie Kirk said during his lifetime, attacked a lot of minorities and attacked a lot of individuals, and some people just didn't go with that. They didn't like that. So bringing that into the school, a lot of students, they didn't want it there. They was like, it's not welcome. Now I understand that everybody has the freedom of speech.
Do you feel she was out of her place to do that?
No. So when they did go, that class, they said, if you want to come, you can. If you don't, you do not have to. She came down with her class, and a lot of people in that class just wanted to see what they were talking about, what their viewpoints were. Why do they think that this is something that spreads positivity instead of racism? And before they went in, they made it known that, okay, don't make a scene, don't make faces, don't immediately, once they say something, start attacking him, because that's what some individuals want you to do. And the teacher, I saw it happen. She wasn't yelling at the top of her lungs. She was not, in a sense, screaming. She was just kind of asking them. And because I was sitting at one of the tables further away. If you send it to me, I can't.
It here.
I was sitting at one of the tables further away. I could barely hear her. So she wasn't loud. She wasn't obnoxious.
But do you think that would it have been different if a student did this versus a teacher?
I think yes, that it would have been different.
I don't think it was appropriate for a teacher to do it.
Right as she was saying that, they were starting to get staff members, and I honestly thought they were going to get somebody to escort her out because of this.
Yeah.
Now, if a student did it, maybe it'd be different. But a lot of students do not want Turning Point there because of this. And I understand, of course, you can have freedom of speech. You're free to express how you want to express. I see both sides of it. I know some people that they are like, yes, bring Turning Point here. They have come at different churches around in the area of Northwest Indiana. So I think it's just one of those things that students are like, no, we know the viewpoints. We know what's going on. We don't want it here.
But I think that it's up to the students.
So I sent you the link if she's going to play it.
They will. They are going to sign up. They're going to start a petition to not have it on campus.
Do you think did she swear, do you think?
No.
All right, so let's hear it. I just sent you the link, and she'll get in there. I didn't know anything about this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they've been at.
Well, I remember when Adriana told me about Turning Point coming. I thought that the caller was talking about what.
And they have an
MF was
Instagram
talking about the white supremacy. But yeah, this was something else.
They have an Instagram, and with the Instagram, a lot of students have commented that they don't want it there.
Yeah, but
and it's up to the students. They should go to the chancellor. They should, have protests. But I don't think it's appropriate for the teacher.
They're gonna do all those things and take the precautions to do so.
All right, we're going to see if she can play that right now.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
I hope it doesn't curse. If so, then we're just going to stop it real quick.
Yeah, okay, go ahead. And there she is right there. You got to unmute that.
Unmute it.
Yeah, you got to unmute it.
When you have a society, okay. So you have a situation here where you want to go into classrooms and you want to tell faculty that they're not allowed to speak the truth about the history of this country. You want them to be, what's the word for slaves now? Involuntary employees or involuntary workers. We can't even say slavery.
We're not
That's ridiculous.
wanting to impose on the teachers. We are wanting this to be within the students. And
the students want to decide what history is.
No, we know what history is, actually. Yeah. Did you know that all of our founding fathers were actually Christian, and this country was formed on Christian values?
That's it?
That's all she said. That's the thing. That's
All right, play it again from the beginning. We missed the beginning. All right, here it is again.
Oh, you want to know what fascism means? Because I'll tell you. You guys want to know? Yes.
Yeah.
When you have a society, okay. So you have a situation here where you want to go into classrooms and you want to tell faculty that they're not allowed to speak the truth about the history of this country. You want them to be, what's the word for slaves now? Involuntary employees or involuntary workers. We can't even say slavery.
We're not
That's ridiculous.
wanting to impose on the teachers. We are wanting this to be within the students. And
the students want to decide what history is.
No, we know what history is, actually. Yeah. Did you know that all of our founding fathers were actually Christian, and this country was formed on Christian values?
So that's a professor?
yes.
Okay. And that happened in a class?
So this was in the CLO main zone, the new area that they built. They rented out, they blocked out that time in that space.
And that's actually Turning Point's thing, and this
Yes,
woman
but
came
so the
to them.
students that set that up, they are juniors at PNW, and they wanted to bring this to the school. And it's getting a lot of pushback. A lot of students don't want it there.
Well, I mean, that right there looked to me like our show. People arguing.
Right, but the thing about it, it's one thing for the students to go against what the students are doing, but I don't think it was appropriate for the teacher to get involved. I think that you have to leave it to the students to fight for what they want in their schools.
The professor asked a question, and I don't know I couldn't hear her. Mind you, if the classroom area where they were at was right here, and it's like straight across, they have tables. I was sitting at one of those tables. I couldn't hear her. I couldn't hear any of them. So it wasn't like loud. It wasn't that she was yelling or anything like that. It was just like she asked a question, and they said, "Why do you think it's like this?" It's fascism. What do you mean it's fascism? Well, I'll explain fascism to you. She went up and did that. Now, yes, I do agree that maybe a student should have done it opposed to a faculty member. But like I said, she was very upset that they took down her SOMO stuff. They took down her Black Student Union stuff because they found it political, but then they don't see this as political.
But that's something you take up with the administration, not with the group that brought in this group.
I mean, I don't know. I mean,
I see both sides.
All right. We got to take a break.
And then we have phone calls.
Yeah, we got calls.
Yeah,
we'll come back and take them. Thanks a lot, Adriana, for explaining that. I didn't know anything about it. PNW, two major institutions are in national news right now. Franciscan in Crown Point for that video of allegedly turning away a woman who was in labor and she had the baby in the car. Mm-hmm. And then you got PNW professor confronting a Turning Point USA meeting.
And I think IU had an issue as well as with someone saying something too. So it's kind of the sign of the times.
Yeah, and the third one, national spotlight here, is the redistricting to try to get Mervan out. So a lot of stuff focused on Northwest Indiana, but we'll be right back on the Voice and Face of the Region. AM 1230, WJOB 104.7 FM. Can you show that? I think that email finally went through. Can you show that picture of the, there you go. Can you show the picture of the overturned semi? I'm going to go through some traffic. Traffic trumps all, folks, and it is not good this morning as it's raining. Let's take a look at what has been a problem all morning long is 294 around the city. 2 spots between the Stevenson and O'Hare are really bad, and it will slow you down. Allow extra time if you're going to O'Hare. You'll be okay if you're going up 294 to Midway. You get off at Cicero, you'll be fine. But the Bishop Ford up the gutter of the Southland is fine, and then all of a sudden you hit the merge, and the Dan Ryan is bad all the way in from 111th all the way into Jane Byrne. Even if you take the Skyway and the toll road, what I would do today is I'd take the Skyway and the toll road to Lakeshore Drive and go up that way. All right, now on the Borman, we are showing right now, if you're watching on YouTube, that is an overturned semi. Can you show that back one more time?
Mm-hmm.
All right. There's a car on its side. Where's the semi?
This is a semi.
That's a semi? Oh, I see it. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my God.
And
Look at that.
There's all the traffic. Where is this at?
It's because people do not slow down with the conditions, slippery roads, and those semis drive so fast.
Yeah, you could see right here it's blocking from end.
All right, so let me tell you where that is. And that is eastbound on the Borman. And that is, right now, it's pretty bad from Torrance all the way back to the quarry because of this. It was blocking all the lanes, but can you do that one more time? It looks like people are going around it on one lane, it looks like.
It doesn't show.
Yeah, okay. But if you're coming back from Illinois at 294 or 80 or whatever, you're going to
like this little gap?
Yeah, a heap of trouble as you come into this overturned semi. I want to say thank you to Paul Goddard for sending that in. Region News Source, you can go to Region News Source on Facebook, like the page, and you'll get updates like this right here that Goddard sent us this morning. Now, that is also creating a bit of a gaper's delay going westbound on the Borman, and that's basically from the state line until the Bishop Ford, or even right in that area, state line to Bishop Ford. That's a problem, folks. So you got 3 major problems. 294, you got the Dan Ryan, and you got eastbound Borman are all problematic. I-65 looks good, US 30. Most of the Borman in both directions on the Indiana side looks fine. Adriana Alvarez with the weather.
So currently right now at the Strachan Van Til Studios, we are seeing that it is 39 degrees. Today we are going to see a bit of rainy weather on and off drizzle with a high of 45 degrees and a low of 38 degrees. Moving forward into the rest of the week on Wednesday, highs of 45 degrees and lows of 39 degrees. Mostly cloudy conditions. And then on Thursday, back with the rain with a high of 54 degrees and a low of 42 degrees. A little afternoon rain, mostly cloudy, and we're going to see that rain continue on into Friday, but then Saturday and Sunday is looking like it's going to clear up.
This segment is being recorded on November 18th of 2025. We were really kind of talking about 3 stories that are going on. One is Franciscan in Crown Point, allegedly turning away a woman in labor, and the video of that has gone viral. Second one is PNW yesterday. Adriana was very close to this one. There's another viral video of a PNW professor talking to some folks with Turning Point USA. Third one, of course, is redistricting. It looks like for now the redistricting is not going to happen in northwest Indiana, and that has drawn the ire of President Trump. And it looks like he's going to go after some downstate Republicans and try to primary them. So lots happening here that is actually getting thrown around on social media. You can hit any one of those. Verly Suggs is with me.
You see how professionally she did that?
You
took it for granted. Well, no, that you have hot coffee in front of you now that you said you were going to go ahead and go get.
Where'd it come from?
Adriana just brought it to you, and she did it off the camera. She did it so professionally that you just reached over.
Turn your mic up. Your mic's off. There you go. Go ahead.
Okay. No, because he knows I'm about to yell at him because he's clinking it on the thing.
Oh.
Oh, he needs a coaster. That's why.
We got to get coasters.
Yes,
but
he
we
needs a
need to
coaster.
get. We need to get.
What do you mean I didn't notice it? I got my coffee right here. I just took a drink
But
of
you
it.
didn't notice that she had gotten it for you because you said you were going to go get it while she did weather and you forgot.
I'm playing that up.
Yeah.
Adriana, that was really well done. I was surprised you got it for me. I didn't,
I gave her the sign
I
language.
said that Verley will bring in
She's
the
like,
Verley will bring in the first phone call, and I was going to go get my coffee. Okay, so bring in the phone call, please.
Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Oh, two things, you guys.
Good morning,
Stop
Brad.
Yeah, good morning. I'm sorry I didn't greet you guys. How are you? Thanks for putting on the show and giving everybody a platform to vent. But it's good because you guys, you know what? You got to have a heart and soul to take it. And I mean, all of us are out here giving it, and we're not taking it. So I appreciate it. But I just want you guys to stop, if you can, stop relying on the Sunday talk shows or the coveted CEO. Get on X and Rumble or Odyssey and find out what some of the people really are saying, because you're just a product of the algorithm when it comes to the research, okay? Because the caller that talked about the Ford CEO, there isn't a mechanic in the world right now that doesn't hate Ford, Stellantis, who makes Chrysler, Subaru, all of them. I know a few of these mechanics. Brad's got a little bit of blowdown in there. That dude is right about everything. The entire automotive industry is in complete shambles. Every mechanic is getting ripped off daily at dealerships, and that's why they're walking out. They're walking out because they can't get paid what they're supposed to get paid for the job. You can't get the parts on time. Everything's being completely and utterly you can't even fix a car anymore. You do have to learn a lot of tech because it's constantly changing. And the absolute end game in the automotive industry, and this is going to sound wild as hell, but it's to get you out of a car. If you look at what some of the CEOs are saying, they don't even plan on production anymore. They're going to have fleets. So you're just going to have an Uber everywhere that's going to take you somewhere if it wants to, because your social credit score is good enough to let you get to Strax to get your food. But if you get on the air and argue about things like us, that Uber's not coming for you. It's going to say you're too political. You hurt people's feelings at a college because they don't like free speech truly. Everybody should be able to say what the heck they want to say as long as it's not libelous. If it hurts your feelings, who cares? Because hurting feelings is why the CEO of Ford has got to get up there and tell lies about his mechanics. Because he doesn't want his bottom line to get hurt. And he doesn't want all of his stockholders and everybody to get upset that they're not doing it right. But they won't listen to the mechanics. I'm telling you guys, you got to listen to that. He is absolutely right. That Dave's Garage is out of Utah. Guy talks about it every day. $30,000, $40,000, $60,000 engines come in there, wrecked to the hilt. They try to get to Ford. They try to get to Stellantis. Hell, I got a problem on my minivan that I got to pay $5,500 to get fixed. It's an absolute nightmare. And I just want you guys to be informed about it, because it's unfair, because you can go ask 10 mechanics right here, walk out and go ask those guys at the garage. Walk over to Mako or CarX if they're still open, and they'll tell you the same thing. They're walking out in droves. So that guy, the CEO of Ford, he is definitely in some serious hot water.
All right, so let me just remind people what he said. Jim Farley, he said, we are in trouble in our country. We are not talking about this enough. We have over 1 million openings in trucking, factory, plumbers, electricians, tradesmen. And he says Ford is struggling to hire mechanics at salaries that Ivy League grads might envy. Specifically, he said Ford can't fill 5,000 jobs that pay $120,000 a year as mechanics. Why do you think what's he lying about?
Oh, are you kidding? What do I think he's lying about? Let's go back to the H-1B1 here, the visas. And let's really talk about how they've screwed Hispanics and how they have screwed the person of color, black man, brown man, whatever you want to call them, and guys like me, who you said are the enemy, over 50 years old. There are colleges all over this country that their entire class is from India, okay? This is the big psychological operation on everyone. They want us to believe that we must fight against ourselves as Americans for these jobs. They are importing and brought in so many Indians and Middle Easterners, gave them free room and board, free college tuition. What about that, Adriana? Are you in favor of them getting free tuition versus a Mexican American or American of color? Who they're not the ones getting jobs. And guys like me who put our time in and have paid all the taxes, they have taken advantage of that system in such a mass way that they are literally guaranteeing jobs. Look, here's the thing. All of us, we got to take massive classes, get our MCCCs, our Cisco certifications, all the stuff that they told us to get that we have, and we still can't get a job. And these guys came in from India and take one test, one aptitude test, as they got off the labor camp from the city of Dubai that they built for the last 4 years. Then they come over here, and they don't even get half the salary as what a Mexican American, a black American, or a American of color, or a white old honky like myself get. That's not fair. There's nothing fair about it.
All right.
And
Thank
that's
you.
why the
Thank
CEO
you. We're going to move it right now. Like I told you, you need your own podcast. All right, man. Thank you for your comments.
Can it just be possibly because the young people, like people get older, they retire, they move on, and maybe the reason why is because some young people don't want to do those jobs. The funny part is my grandkids in Connecticut. I said to my husband, one of my granddaughters in Indianapolis in Fisher had a job. And I said, oh, why doesn't Christian go over there and get a job? He said, because he gets paid $16 an hour to empty trash at his mother's office. Kids only want to work certain jobs. In Connecticut, the minimum wage is $16 an hour. They don't want to do those jobs that maybe when you were growing up, you were digging sewers and things like that. They don't want to get their hands dirty. They don't want to hurt their fingers working on cars. They want to find an easy way to make the money.
Well, I mean, you're echoing Ford Motor CEO Jim Farley. We are in trouble in our country. We have 1 million openings in critical jobs like factories and plumbers, electricians, and tradesmen. And I agree with this guy. By the way, today is the Building Trades Fair in Porter County, and it's at the Porter County Fairgrounds. And if you're listening to this at another time, this is being recorded on November 18th of 2025. Goes from 8 to 2, Porter County Expo Center in the East Expo building, and that's in Valpo, if you know where it is. And they have all the trades there, and they bring kids from all these different high schools on buses. I usually go to the Lake County one. I won't go to this one, but I usually go out to the Lake County one. And it's really kind of cool to see all these kids come in. But at some level, they may get a few. But I think sometimes kids just want out of school, so they go to the building trades thing. And they get massive amount of attendance. But it is still, the guy's right. There's 114,000 kids or young people graduated in trade schools in the last 10 months, and 1.3 million from college. And the tradespeople are the ones that are lower unemployment, and they're making more money.
Right.
But we can't get people to do that.
Right.
I agree with you. Kids don't, young people don't want to get their hands dirty, but we're not doing a great job of encouraging it. Anyways, let's take another phone call. 219-845-1100.
Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hey, Burley. How you doing? Hi, girls. Hi, Adriana. And you too, girl, Jimmy. Hey, so, I got $50 if anybody can tell me what that last caller actually said. And then, was this issue over at Purdue Cal, was this in an open area or was it a classroom where Turning Point was having a recruiting meeting?
Hold on. Adriana was there. Let her talk.
Well, yeah, he was going to let me. It's technically both. So the classroom, how it's set up is that it has there we go. How the classroom set up is that it has sliding glass doors that you can close the classroom if you wanted to, if it is being used as a classroom for a professor at that point in time. So how they had it set up is that the sliding doors were open and that it was a recruiting meeting.
So people had reserved that area for Turning Point for a particular 1 to 2, 3 to 4, whatever, to recruit, to put on a presentation to get people to join into the organization, right?
Yes.
So if you want to be in the meeting, you attend it. If you don't, you don't, right? Or if you want to join, you join. But if you don't want to join, you go on and do some other thing you want to do, right? Or go home. Or why would anybody want to say, oh, we can't have those people here on campus? Because I remember there was this guy in Minnesota who nobody on planet Earth would say, that's what I want my son to be exactly like. That guy's name was George Floyd. And we worship that guy like a hero. Now, I wouldn't want anybody coming to that guy's defense in any way, manner, shape, or form, or ever use that guy as a role model. But we put him up, statues of him all over the country. And here's a Catholic, or at least a Christian-orientated organization, and all they're trying to do is just get people to come in. And this woman bursts in there, interrupts the meeting, which she was not invited to, and she was certainly allowed to attend it, I guess, if she wanted to see what it's about, but had no right to go and interfere. I mean, this is like all the, like Jimmy's former alumni.
I have one question. Was it illiterate? Because,
No,
I mean,
you
she's
can
a
hear what
professor.
she
I don't
was
think she's
saying.
illiterate.
Mm-hmm. I see both sides. I see that it's freedom of speech until it's freedom of speech that you don't want. And then it's freedom of speech, but you're changing the narratives of, like, it's both sides. I could see why students are angry about it, and I can see why students don't understand why they're angry. People came to the meeting and they thought that it was going to be a debate. That how Charlie Kirk did when he was alive, that people came in and they debated. When they found out that it wasn't, they left. And when that professor and the students left, a lot of people exited out of that area. Now, some people say that they don't want it there because it's political.
All right, so they don't want the Charlie Kirk thing
Mhm.
because it's the Turning Point USA recruiting on PNW's campus.
Yes.
The professor comes in and she talks about fascism and she debates and she goes against what some of them are saying.
Mhm.
So where's the rub here? I'm missing it.
That
Why are people upset?
because
Isn't
of,
that what Kirk did? I loved watching some of those tapes.
because of his ideologies.
Yeah, but people disagreed with him and he talked to them. That
Mhm.
was kind of right.
But this was just a recruitment meeting. This wasn't a debate.
Oh, it wasn't a debate.
This was a
Okay.
recruitment meeting
All right.
held on campus.
All
A
right,
lot of
so-
students think that based on what Charlie Kirk stood for, and his entire organization is built on racism. That's what they feel. So when you bring said organization that people feel is based on racism to a campus that thrives on and boasts about their diversity, that's when you get that issue. That's when two heads collide.
So if the Nazis decided to come and meet at Purdue to do a recruitment, how would that be received? I mean, would people be upset with the teacher if she came out and spoke against them?
I think that you would definitely, if you put it in that term of that it's Nazis coming to talk, then yeah, a lot of faculty would probably be in an uproar about it, and a lot of students would be too. Based on this whole Turning Point thing, I kind of want to ask my professors that we've had discussions about race, diversity, and equity. I want to ask them, what do you think? Do you think that this should be allowed? Should it not be allowed? Why do you, and why? And it's not to kind of attack them. It's just to get that viewpoint. Because, and then some people could say, oh, that's indoctrination because you're asking the professors you agree with. No, I disagree with a lot of these professors. And a lot of them I've had discussions with, and when they said, okay, give me a 5-page paper on this, I felt like I was like, here you go, here's a 5-page attack because I don't agree with you. And then there's some that they give me material and I'm like, okay, I don't agree with you, but then also, here's my side, let's talk it out. Let's have a discussion.
Good for you being able to back up what you believe.
Can I teaching moment this for a second?
And then we'll go to the phone lines.
So I have you and Semino working on a crisis management strategy here, right?
Yes, I have to type that up today.
Yes, and you're going to give it to me, and we're going to enter it in the corporate books, and we're going to have on this Kuziak thing, right? Okay, both Franciscan and PNW are in a crisis management, crisis communications system right now. I don't know if they have, I don't know what their policies are, but do you see why I'm saying that it's so important? I had a guy reach out to me. He's one of the top crisis management and PR guys in the country. He's from the region. He saw what happened, and he wants to see that before you present it to me. Okay, if you're okay with that.
Yeah.
Crisis communications, if you can get good at that, there are very few people in America that really know how to manage a crisis like that. But anyways,
so
all right.
Here's the one thing about crisis management, because of course I dealt with it a lot at LTH. You definitely should not keep bringing up the person's name because it's an HR issue.
You mean like the Kuziak issue?
Yeah, I wouldn't keep saying.
Well, I don't know if it's an HR issue as much
as
it is.
If even if you're not paid, but you're on your show. Because I mean, I had to let somebody go, and I can say he's deceased now, but Ron Muhammad over something during the time when the McClendons were murdered. Ron Muhammad.
When did he die?
Oh, years ago. Yes. So you remember he came from California. He was one of our most popular radio hosts, and it was an issue when the McClendons were murdered. He was probably at the press conference. I think you were there as well. And it was very unpopular, but I couldn't keep bringing his name up,
What was it? What did he say?
Well, it was
allegedly, or
it was something with naming the witnesses over the air, and it just wasn't appropriate. The conversation that was taking place.
So you had to do what?
McClendon called. He was really upset that this was being said over the air, and it was a whole thing. So I had to end up taking him off the air, and he came in and tried to do another show. It was just a whole big thing that kind of tumbled to an event where he was totally taken off the air permanently. Tony Walker was involved. It was just Pluria over in California. It was major. So, I mean, it's something that happens, and you just have to handle it, but you have to handle it out of the public's.
So, but here's the thing that, Adriana and Semino basically have exhibited an interest in crisis communications, which is a subspecialty.
Well, that's what you did. So I mean,
it's what I did when I was at a PR firm, and I worked for Dennis Quinlan, who was a former editor of the Sun Times, and he basically showed me how to do it, and I would have never quite understand it. And the only person in the region that I thought was adept at it was, he just died, Tom Kyleman. He did it for BP. So when I'm talking about that, it's like we're on the campus of PNW. These guys have a real world situation. It's not a massive.
It happened with Kimmel. It just happened with Kimmel.
Exactly. So same Franciscan has to figure out how they're going to deal with a viral video that is incredibly damaging.
They will settle out of court. It will never see a court. Those attorneys are going to handle that. Those people are going to get a nice settlement. They're going to sign a non-disclosure agreement, and that they're going to be fine.
Okay, PNW, now they're on the national stage about Turning Point USA and an African American woman coming in that's a professor, and now you got to deal with that.
Well, look what happened with Keon. You have to deal with it.
And my point is that I just don't think it's almost like there's not enough mechanics and stuff. There's not enough people that have gone through this and have lived through it and that can calm people down and say, this is how we handle it.
Yeah.
I don't know who
And you can do that afterwards. You can come back and say how this was handled. Yeah. But in the process, I would just kind of leave it alone, not discuss it. Let's go to phone
we're
lines.
teaching here. Don't
I
you get it?
understand, but not over the airways.
All right, good enough. Hey, you're on the air.
There's no callers.
Oh, excellent.
So you went to bring up the bishops because we have the bishops.
All right, so we want one other topic, okay? The bishops of America, and I think North America, rebuked America for forgetting about human dignity when dealing with mass deportation. And my point is, and I don't think it is landing really, is that many of us Catholics really respect our church and we kind of follow it. And, what are you telling me to do in certain moral situations? And right now they are ripping on America for that. And my point is, gosh, I would hate to be an ICE agent right now, because if you're really heavily Catholic and you kind of buy into the whole thing, and then you're really heavily into your job that you took an oath for, I don't know how you balance those two things. Mm-hmm. And that is a tough decision. And I think it's a tough decision for any Catholic that's listening. Now, many people aren't Catholic and they don't know what we're talking about and probably don't care. But if you grew up going to a Catholic school, you believed in what your priests were telling you and your nuns and the Bible and all that, that was a tough hit on last Wednesday when the Catholic bishops came out and said, remember human dignity, America. You're forgetting it. What do you think?
I agree. I was at Mass this past Sunday with Bishop McCrory at the cathedral, and he gave an excellent homily addressing a lot of the issues that we deal with. I was waiting for them to come out with a statement. I was waiting for him specifically to come out with a statement. So I was really happy to see that it came from the majority of the bishops that were in agreement on this. Interesting enough, he brought up the Pope and the fact of the Pope's ties and African diaspora. So that was interesting because a lot of people want to whitewash that and not believe that, he is of Creole descent. But the welcomingness of what the Pope has pushed, and now the bishops are coming forward with a statement, this is how I've always felt. So they're not coming out and saying something that I didn't already feel. Now, if they came out and said, we will vilify these immigrants and we're going to support ICE agents coming in and removing them and all that stuff, then I would have to question my faith or question my religion, not my faith. And by them coming out and saying something that I had already believed, then it just made me feel really great about my choice for a religion. Okay, so it's affirming your pre-existing belief. Yes. All right, what I'm saying is I wasn't really paying that much attention to this or really thinking about the moral aspect of it. Really? And I'm just like, well, it's kind of, I'm watching it as a news story. It's like, do we want to secure our border? If people are here and didn't go through the right channels, and especially if they're criminals, well, I mean, is this right for ICE to be doing it in the way they're doing? I think they're a little aggressive, but now it's like not just criminals, it's just anybody really. And it's like they're just like, if you're brown, they're just kind of going, they're just, hey, we're the meter reader was excellent when they happened at least last week in Cicero. He's like, dude, I forgot where my where I was born and what the name of the hospital, and I wound up getting detained. And I'm like, man, we had that family that was here, and ICE broke into the house or busted down the door and came in, and that's just from memory. I don't remember exactly how ICE went in there, so don't hold me to that one. But they were all separated, and they took the guy that had already gone to prison in the 90s, and it was I talked to the people. I'm like, wow, they are really just, they're like in shock, like PTSD shock. Oh, definitely. It's in Charlotte's now. Operation Charlotte's Web. We do have a caller, Jim.
So hold on a second. So to finish that is, I think, unlike you, who already had a pre-existing, all right, this is wrong, I wasn't really thinking about it. And now the Catholic bishops came out, and I read their whole statement and everything, and I'm like, man, what is my, I have a dilemma between what we're doing within our country to secure our borders and what my church tells me. And all I can remember is Father Weiss waving his finger at all of us little kids sitting out there, 600 kids. When you grow up, you follow the laws of God before the laws of man. And I'm like, man, it's a lot at once.
But they're pretty much similar. Thou shalt not lie, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not commit murder. Those are commandments that are laws. So if you break those commandments, you break those laws, you end up serving time. I don't see a commandment that says thou shalt not try and come to another country for a better way of life, because if that was the case, then everybody here would be removed and considered prisoners, because they all came here for a better way of life, even before there was an Ellis Island, even before there was a passport, a visa, or any other requirement. We do have a caller. Let's take the caller.
Well, before you get that, in Leviticus chapter 13, verse 33 through 34, you shall love them yourself, for you are foreigners in Egypt. Mm-hmm. So it is in the Bible, but it's the same thing with faith, and it goes to both sides. Mm-hmm. You can pick and choose what parts of faith you want to take out and what parts you want to accept.
And it's in the Bible, but it's not breaking of a commandment. And that's what I was trying to the correlation of following your teachings.
Yeah.
So, yes, because, I mean, there's lots of things in the Bible that address pretty much everything that we deal with on a daily basis.
You got the Beatitudes, you got the commandments, you got all those things.
Right. Exactly. So,
But now we have the actual Pope who grew up over here listening for school closings, and he was prompting the bishops to take a stand because he had already taken a stand.
Right.
And they were kind of, they didn't really want to do that, I guess. And then they came out and they went full force
I would like
at
to
America.
know the ones that didn't agree with it. That's just horrible.
All right, let's take a phone call. 219-845-1100. Hey, you're on the air.
Good morning, guys. How you doing? I miss Michelle.
Well, you didn't. You're here now.
This morning. Oh, okay. No, but I miss Michelle. Michelle being on.
Oh, you miss Michelle. She'll be on next week.
And I won't be.
All right. Well, yeah, I don't mind you being around, Jed. Hey, I heard it from a pretty good source that they took out a couple individuals from the Hammond Public Library ICE did. That ICE was actually in Hammond. So
yeah, they've been in Hammond, East Chicago, Gary. They've just been Lake Station. They've been a lot of places.
I guess they left Chicago, but they're infesting other areas now. And so like I said, I've said before, I'm just waiting my turn. I fit the criteria.
Do you know what hospital you were born in?
Yes, I do. Indiana, St. Catherine.
Make
St.
sure you don't
Catherine
forget
Hospital.
that.
Indiana Harbor, And, while I don't totally, I'm not with the religious institutions, but I agree with the sentiment of, who was it, the Cardinal or somebody?
It's the Catholic bishops.
The bishops. I totally agree with that if they want to follow the teaching of the Bible of Jesus Christ, and again, the cliche of what would Jesus do and all that, so I totally agree with that. And oftentimes I wonder, that this nation has lost its, the moral issues and their bearings, and if they believe in karma, that all of this is going to come back, that there's going to be a reckoning, and it's not going to be good, but, the country has lost its soul.
Hold on a second. What'd you say?
That the country has lost its bearings, as far as moral and trying to be good and just trying to be politically correct, or not politically correct, but I mean righteous, that everything has to be black and white, that there's nothing in the middle. And the lack of empathy is just astounding,
So you said you fit the criteria that you are a brown guy, right?
I sure am. I'm extra brown because I just came back from vacation. So.
All right, so do you think that at some point you may just be approached by ICE because you're brown?
Yes, totally. Especially them being in the area. I'm with the work crew right now, so I'm relatively safe, I think, although they do snatch people out of situations, work situations. So, the only thing I carry around is my license.
That's shame. That's shameful that you should have to go through racial profiling.
That's exactly what it is, and people hate to hear it. Racial profiling. Just like there's no white privilege, and there's no racial profile. That's the only thing it is.
All right, man. I gotta cut it short. Thank you. All right, Adriana. Thanks for coming in, and tough topics today. A lot there, but mostly that's what we do here for 102 years, and that's just what we're going to continue to do, God willing. Verly, thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
So much for coming in and donating your time. Thanks a lot to all of you for listening and watching, and until next time, we'll see you later.